Welcome into the lounge presented by DraftKings. We are psyched to have wide receiver Nelson Agholor talking to us today. So we'll start here. Nickname Nelly. Everybody calls you Nelly?
Yeah.
Right? All right. So I don't know if you know that Nelly has a little history with the Ravens because Ray Lewis, came out to Hot in here as intro and did the whole Ray Lewis. I'm sure you've seen it. The Ray Lewis dance. That was to Nelly's Hot in here. So the question is, since you're Nelly, are you going to come out of the tunnel to Hot in here, do the Ray Lewis, the whole thing?
I don't know. I think I'd probably pick a different one.
Okay. All right. Do you like Nelly? Are you a Nelly guy?
Yeah.
Okay. Not enthusiastic, though. Just kind of like, yeah, he's all right.
I like Nelly. He's cool.
All right. Have you always gone by Nelly? We got to know the whole full backstory.
I mean, I think it just started as a kid.
Yeah.
My mom said it. Everybody said it.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go.
All right. Well, if you need to come out to, Ray Lewis's dance, I'm sure he could let you borrow it.
I would ask permission.
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
exactly.
are you sure about that?
Yeah, you can.
Are you sure about that?
Maybe. So, what do you think so far of life in Baltimore and being a member of this team?
I love it. It's been awesome. It's been real cool. I mean, the word to describe it is a family. It feels right, and it's family.
What makes it feel that way?
I mean, it starts with the head ball coach.
Yeah.
Everything he does from a place of love. And, you feel it. You feel the family atmosphere. And, I mean, quarterback, family kind of guy. Offensive linemen are close, wide receivers are close.
Yeah.
And you just feel like the family atmosphere is one of the reasons why we got a shot.
Is that why, like, had you heard that before you came here, and did that play a role in you coming here?
Well, a role in me coming here was people that are like family to me were already here on the coaching staff.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, T. Martin was my college coach who taught me a lot.
Right.
Keith Williams, Coach Dub, I call him Unc. Even before I got here, I've been working with Dub for some years now. Some of my best years in this league was through him, talking to me through my tape, helping me prepare for who I was going against, things like that. So, I mean, and then, G. Lou, Coach Lewis, who was my receiver coach my second year, helped me out so much, right. Confidence-wise and just relationship-wise.
Right.
And also earlier we were walking in here, and I tell you about, George Gotze. His brother was my quarterback coach in high school.
That's crazy.
So, and it doesn't stop there. Willie Taggart.
Yeah.
Coached in Tampa, Florida, and my parents had a house a couple houses down from Willie Taggart. So it's pretty cool.
That is crazy.
So when you get here and you talk about the family piece, I'm curious, and this isn't intended to throw shade on any other place that you've been, but you've been in different organizations, but you feel like the family atmosphere here is something special and unique. Is that, compared to where you've been and a lot of times guys come here and they say
you won't even have to compare it. It's just like where I am in my life right now, it's the most glaring thing. It's the family and the love aspect. I mean, doesn't matter about anywhere else. It's just when I got here, it felt right. I felt at home. I felt myself. And just being able to just play fast and be at peace and put worry to the side is a beautiful thing.
That's awesome. I mean, when you talked to reporters last week, you talked about that your focus is to be a good teammate. And you just said that over and over again. You just kept coming back to that. My focus is to be a good teammate. And I got to believe in hearing you talk right now that part of the reason is that when you feel like you're in this family atmosphere, everybody does their part and you just feel like your role and your responsibility is take care of being a good teammate first, and then everything else takes care of itself.
I think we're all in this league for a reason. We're all capable. Doing your job and being a quality teammate and being a part of something bigger than you is what gets you the ultimate prize, and I've been there.
Right.
I've been there before, and I know that, putting my head down and just working and just, taking advantage of what comes to you is what puts you in position to be productive towards that end goal. And that's part of being a good teammate. You don't sit here and you don't count anything. You just take what's given to you and you just work every day. And that's the reality of this business and success for a really good team.
Well, you've been taking advantage of all your opportunities in practice. It seems like you've been balling out out there, and it's been all summer long. It seems like you and Lamar just have really good chemistry already, which with a new target, you would think, all right, this takes a little time to develop. Like the back shoulder stuff, especially.
Yeah.
He knows how to put it up, where you're the only one that's going to get it.
Yesterday's practice was a perfect example.
It's been time and time again. It's been the back shoulder leaping catch that you've made a dozen times, it feels like, in practice. What is it about your chemistry? How did that develop?
Well, first of all, it has a lot to do with how he communicates, his placement of the ball. Mm-hmm. And then, I trust it. It hasn't been perfect out there because I've missed some, but I truly trust it, And even when I miss something, I trust it because I'm like, that was pretty unique that it got to me. I wasn't prepared, but as soon as I flashed, it was there. And it's like, I'm happy because if it's something that I can master and have the same, communication with him and be on the same page with him, it adds to my ability to go vertical.
Right.
Because a lot of people, if you're a fast guy, they start pulling you over the top.
Right.
So you go speed release and a guy tries to stack you, or a guy not even stack you, a guy tries to play over the top and cut you off. You're still not covered if you and the quarterback have understanding of where he's now going to place the ball.
Right. If he can throw that back shoulder, if you got that, then the vertical threat is that much more dangerous.
Because now people play you low hip,
right?
And you can stack them and you can run by him,
right?
So I'm be honest with you, he's really good at that, and I'm super happy he's actually helped me get better at that. Because I wouldn't say that's always been my game.
Interesting.
It's something that I've grown to and adapted to doing here.
Now, has elevating been a part of your game always? I mean, I know OBJ's got some ups. He's shown that in his career. You guys, I don't know if you got the biggest ups on the team, but it's up there.
I mean, I've always been able to jump, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I've always just jumped all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to give credit to my my AAU team back in Tampa, Florida.
Okay.
Because my kids, I was in the gym all spring and all summer long with the kids.
Yeah.
And I'm practicing with them and I'm dunking all the time. And it's like I got my legs back somehow, and now all of a sudden I like jumping all the time. Even more than running downfield, I like just jumping up.
That's funny. Well, I mean, in my practice notes that I write up, so many times I've been like, Nelson Agholor elevates for another catch. So are you coaching the AAU team or what?
I do, myself and my brother.
Oh, that's cool.
Team, yeah.
What's the age group?
We have a seventh grade, and we have an 8th grade.
So how are you as a coach? Are you active? Are you in the ref's ear? Tell me about you as a coach.
For sure. For sure. I'm super animated. I am in it. I love seeing my players do amazing things. I love when plays work. I love great effort on defense. I love unselfish ball. And then I got really good point guards that play for me. And when they make some passes or they make some decisions, I love being the one being like, hey, one more pass, stuff like that. But I mean, those kids are awesome, and they're dual sport athletes. A lot of guys that play for me, so it's kind of cool to see them just do special things on the basketball court, because I know in football season they go and cut it up in football too.
Right. You kind of have you sound like a coach. The way you talk, you got some wisdom about you. You got coach speak going. Yeah. You're channeling. You talk about unselfishness even with your team, and I feel like that's going to have to be part of the 2023 Ravens, right? I mean, there's so many ballers out there on offense, and so many targets that Monk can call plays for, or Lamar can throw the ball to. How do you all kind of just handle that when there's a lot of mouths to feed?
You got to win. That's the only thing that matters. I mean, you get into this statistic aspect of it because that's what people see.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to get paid and all that. Well, I'm at the point in my career where I want to win.
Yeah.
And I think winning cures a lot of stuff. You put yourself in position to get paid when you win football games. Mm-hmm. For us right now, man, you can put quality things on tape without the ball coming to you. Good routes, good discipline, effort, all that. And you get evaluated that way.
Yeah.
And if you just do that, that's you controlling your aspect. And the ball finds you, it finds you. Mm-hmm. The quarterback's done a really good job of finding multiple people. And Lamar, he's already made that very clear. I'm gonna find guys. I'm gonna get everybody going. And And I think he's going to do a great job of that. We just got to just run hard, get open, and just show great effort with or without the ball.
It's interesting hearing you talk about that because I think a lot of times everyone knows receivers want the ball. I mean, that's like no secret, and I think that's sometimes viewed as a negative, but I mean, even Monken has talked about it. Like, I want receivers who want the ball. Like, that's what you want in your guys. But there also is this unselfishness, this perspective that you have about that. And is that something that is kind of the mentality of this receiver group? Even though you got all these new weapons, everyone wants the ball, everyone wants a piece, but like there's this unselfishness that permeates through that group.
My explanation is more about like, hey, having the mature mentality of just focusing on you, and if the ball finds you, it comes there.
Mm-hmm.
If you truly want the ball, every route you run, you'll run hard. And when the ball finds you, you'll maximize on that opportunity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that, without worrying about did it come to me, my focus is on getting open, with or without the ball, whether I'm the first read or the third read. And that's what our coaches teach us. Everybody's always said it to you, but you have to remind yourself, because at times when you get all wounded up about, my targets, I ain't getting this, you start to cheat yourself on how you run every route. You only think you got to run hard when you know the ball's coming to you. If you had a complimentary route, are you going to run that route hard? Because that would be the route right there that, they come off of the main target and go to the complimentary, but you might have BS'd that effort on that route. And it's like, it sucks sometimes when you think like that. So,
right.
And that's from experience. I've learned from experience. I'm not just saying that just like it's happened to me before. So I'm at a place where it's like, hey, run hard, be unselfish about the reality that there's only one ball out there, but be also intentional about getting open, because when your opportunities come, you got to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm curious how you and Odell have kind of meshed, because when I hear both of you talk, there's a lot of similar things that you talk about in terms of like growth and maturation and your veteran players, and you both come in here to a new place. Like
I feel like I'm like hoping that you are speaking up and being a leader in the wide receiver room, because what you're saying, I'm like, I love all of this.
Yeah.
Like, you're telling this to the guys, right? I guess I'm like,
we communicate.
Yeah.
But we got great receiver coaches too.
Yeah.
We got two really special receiver coaches in there. And then going back to what you just said about O and I have a really good relationship because I have so much respect for him. And I think he's gained some respect for me by the way I've practiced and prepared. I mean, he's probably seen me from afar, but being near me, I think that there is mutual respect because he knows that I truly love football. I love all sports, but I truly love football, and I love, learning it. I love, practicing it and preparing for it. So when I speak from a place of, the want for it to be really, really good. Not like there's nothing else about it. Like I'm not perfect, but I want for it to be really good. So I know we have that respect, and I like how he approaches, the mental aspect of the game, because physically he's gifted. I've been more impressed with his mental approach, and then the person.
Yeah,
that's the one I've been most impressed with, is the person. For those that don't know the person, you know what? It's kind of interesting because you have to be somebody close enough to him for him to show you the person. And the person is, unselfish, humble, caring, and just, a competitor. So,
that's awesome.
You talked also about Lamar and his knowledge of the game previously. You've talked about this. What is it that you've seen that fans don't see that really stands out about that?
I don't know if too many people understand that he has an understanding of how he sees the game of football. And it's simple to him. Like, he sees, opportunities for ball placement. He sees opportunities for when you should give your eyes, because he's going to slice it through there.
Right.
He's going to get you in different voids and windows, and he's going to tell you that. Let's say it happens in practice and you didn't just automatically get it. He's going to tell you, like, look, I saw this right here, and I need you to do this right here because I'm thinking about these things. And as a player, when the quarterback tells you something like that, it would behoove you to pay attention because those are his habits.
Right.
And that's his understanding.
Right. He's like, this is when I want to see your eyes, like at this point of the route.
If he tells you that one time, I would probably do that because
It's a good idea.
Because that opportunity gonna come.
Yeah.
When if you don't do that, you're not gonna be ready. But if you do that, you're gonna notice how seamless the connection and the opportunities come because you're listening, you're dialing it, and you're in his head now. Totally. He's explained to you how he sees things, so now you're starting to do those things.
Mm-hmm. This receiver group is really interesting because you got 5 former first-round picks in the room right now. A lot of talent in that room, and Zay Flowers, obviously, he's a first-round pick, and he's looked really good. I'm curious your impressions of him, but also in your experience in the league as a first-round pick, knowing the pressure and the expectations that come along with it, what kind of guidance you give to him as he navigates all of that this rookie season?
The best part about, this season is there's one goal in mind. Mm-hmm. We can underpromise and overdeliver. We don't need to say this is what it is. But for all 32 teams, it's one goal, and that's to win. And he just happens to be an electric player towards that goal. Not about him being a rookie or anything like that, because we get into too much everybody's, hey, what are your rookie stats going to be? Are you going to be rookie of the year? Is he going to be 1,000 yard? Is he this? If he caught, 40-plus balls and had 800 yards and we won a Super Bowl, he had a great rookie year.
Pretty good year, for sure.
But if you want to say, oh, well, he had 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns, but we didn't win, now you're talking about individualism again.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you told him which one would he take, I think he would take the Super Bowl and the numbers that came with the Super Bowl.
Yep.
I don't know. I know I would. If I won a Super Bowl, I won a Super Bowl my 3rd year.
Yeah.
And I was super grateful, and the goal is that for me.
Yeah.
And that's just where I am in my life, and I think he's going to be amazing. You're going to see a lot of different ways he's used, and you're going to see some electric plays from him because he's built like that. He's built to be electric and a game changer. Mm-hmm. It's in his personality, it's in his skill set, it's in his mindset too. He has a mindset of a game-changing mindset. He don't BS about that.
Yeah.
Right.
You've mentioned the Super Bowl a couple times, and you won it with the Eagles in your 3rd year, right? Mm-hmm. You and maybe Justin Tucker are maybe the only 2 guys on this team.
Well, Odell,
of course, who've won a Super Bowl. Do you feel any sort of responsibility to impart what it takes to win a Super Bowl on this team?
Through habits.
Mm-hmm.
Through habits and, the conversation I have. I don't, it's not about saying, hey, I've won, listen to me. It's hey, when you have a team capable.
Yeah.
That's a reality. Not every time season starts do you look around and say, oh, I got that kind of team. If you have a team capable.
You feel pretty good about this group.
I do. And I think it comes down to habits, comes down to relationships, it comes down to unselfishness, and the work that's being put in.
Are those the biggest takeaways that you took from winning a Super Bowl? Like what were your things when you're saying, "Oh man, this was the formula. This is what it takes." What was that?
It's definitely unselfishness.
Yeah.
And relationships. Unselfishness and relationships, and I'm not just talking position to position relationships. Mm-hmm. I'm talking D linemen like Chris Long and Brandon Graham reminding me every day about the plays I'm going to make. Mm-hmm. And we're in week 4 or 5. Mm-hmm. You're celebrating, 6 catch game or 7 catch game or touchdown with me. Or even I'm down, I didn't do well. They're coming over to me and say, hey, bounce back, you going to. And then that week in practice, they're on me yeah, Nelly, you going like the love that came from guys that weren't even in my room is real. Mm-hmm. Or the battles with the, nickel cornerback or outside cornerbacks and the conversation. Us and those DBs that year would always stay after and do releases together, just always working to make each other better because we knew it was about the opponent we were going against.
Right.
We already won. In practice, we compete, but we were preparing for whoever we were going to go against, and that's what it is. It's relationships. Man, it's the relationships, man, and it's cross-position relationships,
right?
Not just in your unit.
Right. So you went to Vegas afterwards and really had, a monster year, 896 yards, 8 touchdowns. And again, We don't want to go into individualism and stats. I'm just saying it was a really good year for you. Like what, and then the following 2 years in New England were not as big in numbers. Kind of how do you look back on those times and sort through that yourself?
I mean, just being honest, it's relationships that came with one and then the other.
Yeah.
And I hate to be a guy that's, swayed by love and comfort, but sometimes that is what it is for
totally.
me.
I mean, that's just being human.
Yeah, like I had a lot of people in the Vegas building that truly had love and respect for me and poured that into me. And it started with the head ball coach and John Gruden.
Yeah.
Rich Bisaccia was there. So many people. They just, they had so much confidence in me, but also instilled more in me. And just watched me work and respected the way I worked. And it worked out for me in that way that, I felt right. Yeah. Whatever I did, I felt right.
Yeah.
Whether it didn't work out great, I felt right.
So with your backstory, you have an interesting backstory. First of all, you were born in Nigeria, right? You moved here when you were 5 years old. Do you have any connection with Ajabo and Owe on this team, Nigerian heritage and that connection?
There's a lot of Nigerians in the locker room right now.
It's a takeover. Yeah, I love it.
And no, it's once again family.
Yeah.
That plays into that.
It goes back to the team of family. We, we talk like our parents in there. We joke around. And, we always check on each other, and I'm really proud of them. Because they're younger.
Sure.
And it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to have them here because I can tell, by the way they do things, that they're raised in a Nigerian household.
That's awesome.
What do you mean by that? Can you explain?
Just habits.
Yeah.
It's respect and habits. Greeting people. You take things very seriously. You prepare with focus.
Yeah. I just talked to them for a story about those two guys, and they were saying in a Nigerian household, like the education aspect, your grades better be good before football happens. Was that how it was for you growing up?
I mean, I thought I was going to be a doctor or a lawyer growing up.
Yeah.
So I'm happy I'm a football player. But we take it seriously, very seriously.
Yeah.
My dad is a super educated man. He's a smart man.
Yeah.
And, he was always somebody to remind us the importance of education, because you come back with school grades that weren't legit, then, don't worry about fun. You're having no fun.
Well, and family, too, is another thing they really, you've talked a lot about family. Like that was a huge part of their culture and all that stuff. So it seems like that's certainly part of you.
The Nigerian culture is based on family. It's probably why I have the habit I have now with being comfortable when things feel like family.
Yeah. So what was it like for you in high school? I mean, gosh, you were, one of the top wide receiver prospects in high school in the whole nation. You had every school wanted you. How did you handle that as a kid? I mean, you're a mature dude now. I don't know how mature. Maybe you were just this mature when you're in high school, but how did you kind of handle that?
I won't give myself that much credit. I wasn't as mature, but I trusted people that I felt like family.
Yeah.
My high school coach, he was really close with Monty Kiffin.
Yeah.
Because he took a year off and he was coaching as an assistant with Monty's staff in Tampa.
Yeah.
And at this time, Monty was coming back to coaching. When I was a freshman, he was coaching at Tennessee with Lane.
Okay.
And Monty Kiffin was the first person to offer me to play corner at Tennessee.
Oh, wow.
And then I got a couple of offers, and then Monty Kiffin and Lane Kiffin took the job at SC, and I went out there to visit for a camp, and in my heart I was like, Monty he has a very distinct voice, and he would always be like, Nelly, you're going to be so great, Nelly. I just got, oh man, shucks, man, you're so good. And he's a special man. That's how he would always just tell me, like, you're going to be so good, you're going to be a great pro.
Yeah.
And this is when I was like, in high school.
Yeah.
And I just believed him.
That's cool.
Yeah, I believed him, and I was like, I'm going with Monty Kiffin to USC.
As a corner, though.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I was going to play offense at this point.
Okay,
yeah.
But he's still on the staff. I'm going over there.
That's awesome.
He would watch me freshman camp. He would watch me go against defense, and he would say, man, they just love the way you did that. And, oh, man. He's like, yeah, oh, you got good speed, Nelly. You got good speed. And moving you to wide receiver, I like that. That's gonna be good.
Yeah.
That's probably my.
That's your
best.
impression.
I was going to say, I would get more impressions. I don't know who else you got.
No, I'm not that good at
Okay,
impressions.
all right.
I don't know Monty Kivens' voice, so I'm just going to say that was an excellent impression.
If you look it up, it's like, man, oh man, shucks.
I want to hear your Todd Monken impression,
no,
but I also don't want to get you in trouble. We didn't ask you. Like, what do you think of Monk's offense?
His offense.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good. It's electric. I mean, he's a lot of verticals.
Yeah.
But multiple cuts, off the vertical stem. And that's the good thing about it. Like you want to be able to use speed, but you also want to be able to use your change direction at the top.
Yeah.
And, we use condensed splits. We'll be spread out. We'll do a lot of different things. And I'm happy that there's variety in that aspect.
Right. And him as a dude, I mean, different voice than Monty, but, him as a coach, what's he like?
He's a jokester. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. He means business, but he's a jokester. And he comes from a really good place. Because I think in his heart of heart, he understands that to win football games, you have to have a professionalism about you to prepare like a pro and to perform like a pro. And I respect him for that.
Yeah.
So your career is super interesting to me because when I look at it, like you've won a Super Bowl, first round pick, you've had some highs, you've had some lows, you've been in different places. And hearing you talk today, like that has all brought you perspective that you're carrying with you now. How have you handled the highs and the lows of your career and how has that shaped you?
It's everything that's happened prior to this point has just put me at a place of peace. Like I'm 9 years in. I feel great. Body's good. I'm happy. Like if you told me I was gonna play 9 years in professional football league and just be happy, have speed, have good energy, have my health, made good money, and you know what I mean, like won a Super Bowl.
Don't forget that.
Not all 9 years were perfect statistically, or early in your career people heckled you or whatever it may be. I would tell you, man, I'll take where I am right now because of that, because I'm stronger as a man. I also have different tools, to carry with me to also teach young kids who will go through the same thing, because any experience I had isn't just unique to me. It's the world of sports. I think Kobe had a quote like, that I listened to when I was younger, and it was like, don't take it so personal. He talked about like criticism and critics will be here before you and after you. Don't take it so personal. The game isn't exempt. Like you cannot get rid of that. That is like a part of it. So if somebody has something to say to me because I didn't perform, it's reality. They have all the right to. It's when you take it so personal that you forget to do your part, which is to get better and to, fix that error, make it right.
And did you have to learn that?
100%. 100%. I had to search every day because you sometimes work so hard that if somebody was criticizing you, you put your guard up and you forget to have the self-confidence to be self-critical about the result. Because what makes a great athlete is being self-critical. But what some athletes forget is the aspect of self-confidence. To be truly confident, you can be self-critical is like a very important thing. Like I have great confidence in myself. So like if something don't work well, I miss a ball and not the best route, I can say I know that, tighten up, let's go, fix that. Next one, lock in. Next one, do this. Next one, just speed. I'm all right with that. Before, if something didn't go well, before I even got a chance to do this or do that, if I heard something, I would now be fighting two things, me preparing, but me guarding myself and my emotions. And it's like, man, emotions are to the side sometimes. It's just you grinding to get better, because my emotional state is peace and happiness. Like, I'm good. Like playing with house money, I'm good.
Yeah. Well, it's a testament to you, because some guys, a lot of guys, go through early career struggles and they don't come out of it, right? It's just, it can break some guys, even if they're high draft picks, especially if they're high draft picks because of the pressure, I mean, that speaks to you. So like, how do you kind of feel like, how did you get through that? You talk about it was a learning process.
Keep
how
fighting.
did you do that?
Keep fighting. I mean, and putting yourself at peace to realize you're in control of like the effort aspect of it.
Yeah.
And then the making it right aspect of it.
Yeah.
You're not in control of like what is being said about you.
Yeah.
It's gonna be here today. It's gonna be here tomorrow. So it's not, if it's you, it's me, him, it's somebody. So you can't take it so personal like it's an attack on you. It just comes with the territory.
Mm-hmm.
And as a person, you just focus on, like, I'm the athlete. Like, my job is to perfect my route running, my catch radius, my focus to the tuck, all that, my finishes. That's my job. My job isn't to, tell somebody's opinion of me is wrong. Like, hey, he's wrong, or he shouldn't be saying that. That's not my job.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Nice.
Well, I think at the end of the year,
There's going to be a lot of good things said.
There's a lot of good things said about you and this team. I just feel like there just seems to be a really good energy around this team, and I think that you're a part of that. I just think that there's like a confidence and an enthusiasm around this team, and I think you're going to have the last laugh this year.
Yeah. I'm looking forward for us to all be laughing and smiling and cheering together.
The confetti.
Yeah.
We have a little saying, we call it size them up. Size it up on here. So hopefully we're all sizing them up this year for that ring finger.
Yeah, and I pray we put in all the work and get after it.
Yeah,
awesome,
cool.
man. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Well, that was Nelson Agholor joining us here in the SeatGeek studio. We also want to give a shout out to our friends at DraftKings, because DraftKings Sportsbook is the official sports betting partner of the Baltimore Ravens, and it has a limited time offer that you don't want to miss. Here's what you need to do. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. Use the promo code FLOCK. If you're a new customer, you get a deposit bonus of up to $1,000. You got to use the promo code, and again, that is FLOCK. It's only at DraftKings. You got to be 21 or older and physically present in Maryland to play. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Yeah.
So really appreciate Nelson for stopping by. And
he's an insightful dude.
Really good perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I like listening to him. It's just like I told him, I'm like, man, like, I hope you're saying this stuff.
Yeah, in the room,
because it just, I feel like he's got such a veteran's mindset and like is such a pro. He's an impressive dude.
Well, like, honestly, and I said this to him, like, when I hear him and Odell talk, there's a lot of similarities there, like in terms of
life lessons
and perspective and where football sits in their life and how they've arrived here in Baltimore, kind of going through all of these highs and lows and like what they want out of this team and what they want out of an organization. Like, a lot of similarities there. And I think that I think that's going to serve this team well. Yeah,
I mean, it's certainly a bonus, for lack of a better word, that you have two Super Bowl winners, two vets who have won a Super Bowl, who know what it takes to do that in the room. Along with all these other young guys.
Yeah.
They're just great mentors for them. And really the offense as a whole, even for Lamar, and even for a bunch of guys, they can share some really great perspective on what it takes to get there. Because, like, to your point, Justin Tucker is the only Raven on the team that won back in 2012. And so some of those lessons, I don't know if they need to be imparted, but the Ravens over the years have lost that kind of perspective gradually. And it's great to have two guys who are going to be huge parts of the team that can share that.
Well, I thought it was interesting when I asked him about that, and he made the point, like, it's through habits. Like, I impart that through habits. And, like, he's not necessarily getting up there like, this is what it's going to take to win a Super Bowl, and I've done this. But, like, you see the work ethic. And, I mean, from a football standpoint, too, like, I know he didn't really want to get into stat projections or anything like that. But, like, I mean, you said it. Everything that we're seeing from him in practice is really encouraging.
Yeah.
And, like, I recognize there's only one ball to go around, and I don't know that he's going to lead the team in receiving, which clearly is not, like, his biggest focus. But I've said time and time again, and I really believe this, like, he's going to help his team win games this year. There's going to be plays. There's going to be plays. It's going to be, it's going to be a play in the fourth quarter where he hits a 20-yard back shoulder down the field, or he catches a red zone 100%. Touchdown. Like, that play is something that he is bringing to this team, and then he still has a speed threat. It's interesting that you hear
slants. I mean, it's not just that play. Like he's caught balls all over the field.
Like I know of you. Like I know he's got the speed, and you kind of think of that.
Yeah.
But like he's not. That's not what he's been doing in practice. It's been like that element is there, but it's like a lot of this like back shoulder, crisp route running, tough catches at times. Like when I think about his game, I didn't think about that element as much, and he's shown that in practice. So, like I said, I think he's going to help this team in some big ways this year.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea how the whole wide receiver production breakdown is going to go. I mean, like all these guys have the talent. You know, we talk about the 5 first-round picks in the room right now. You know, they all have big-time talent. Right, they all can go off. I mean, even just specifically the top 4 guys. I mean, you're talking about Odell, Nelson, Zay, and Rashad Bateman. Like any of those 4 guys could just go off this year. And so, I don't know how it's all going to go down, but Nelson Agholor, I think, has proven that. Yeah, we should give him some targets. You know, like he's going to his point, maximize those opportunities. That's what it's all about for these wide receivers. Are you going to maximize your opportunity? Because there's a lot of mouths to feed.
Yeah. So, and I thought he had like,
to his point though about the numbers. I thought the funny thing was about Zay. He's like, you know, if he has 800 yards, like, and we don't win, you know, and we win the Super Bowl, like that's a good year. I'm like, yeah, I mean, if he has 800 yards, period, like that's pretty good rookie year. If that's he's like, and then you know whatever. If he has 1,300 and we don't win the Super Bowl, it's not as good. I'm like, if 800 is the floor for Zay's rookie year, sign me up.
Look, you just always back to the individual stats over here.
You know, it is a fantasy world that we live in.
That's
here.
all you're worried about. Yeah, I honestly, and the last thing I'll say about Nelson too, like I appreciate his candor talking about the highs and lows of his career.
Yeah,
you know,
for
like
sure.
This is a guy who came in first round pick and had some well documented struggles in Philly, and you know, came out of that, ends up winning a Super Bowl, ends up going to other teams and having success.
9-year career now. And
like
impressive
guy, and I've liked everything I've seen from him so far.
Yeah, for sure.
So in terms of just other notes from practice, as always, you can email us at lounge@ravens.nfl.net. Also, make sure you check out the Ravens Press Pass podcast. Every single day, we post all of the press conferences that take place out here at the facility in their entirety. So if you just want to hear it straight from the horse's mouth, go ahead and check out that podcast as well. Any other notes from you this week that kind of jump out to you?
Well, since we last did our takeaways, you know, the offense had kind of a rough Saturday practice, 9 interceptions. Now, part of that was certainly because the script was kind of against them. It was 3rd and longs for much of practice.
Sure.
And in that scenario, the defense they're licking their chops. They have exactly what they want. They can get after the pass. They can send all kind of blitzes. They can, you know, whatever. They know a pass is coming, and credit to the defense, they capitalized. 9 interceptions. Obviously, that's too many for the offense. You know, some of that's going to happen, but 9's too many. And John Harbaugh came back on Monday and said the offense was a lot crisper. He was really proud of them for practicing with intentionality, I think was his word.
No interceptions.
0 interceptions on Monday. And got hot in the red zone, which obviously there's been a lot of focus on that after the struggles last year in the red zone. So good to see the offense have kind of a bounce back performance and keep stacking. And really, like Todd Monken has said, it's about trajectory. Are you consistently getting better? You're going to have blips. You're going to have practices like Saturdays every once in a while. You want to minimize those, get back on track, and head in the right direction. And that's what we saw on Monday.
Yeah. The other thing that I'll be, that is it's not necessarily a takeaway, but something I'm just watching really closely is the cornerback situation.
You're going to get me going.
Well, I know the number 2 cornerback situation. I like with Rock Yassin currently not on the field. Hopefully he's back soon, as we know, friend of the lounge.
Yep, friend of the lounge.
We hope he's back really soon.
Yeah,
but it's opened the door for Jalen Armour-Davis and Brandon Stevens, and those guys are competing for a role there. And you know, I think that they've had highs and lows. They've had, you know, up and down moments. And so, you know, I'll be watching those guys closely to see if, like, the Ravens feel confident going into, let's just say if that were to linger, you you go into the regular season, do you feel confident in Jalen Armour-Davis starting a game for you if you need him to?
Right.
Do you feel confident in
Brandon Stevens?
Brandon Stevens has done
option.
He's
Kayvon Seymour's had a really good camp.
Yep.
I mean, that would, him being a starter would be, he'd have to really continue that. He's primarily been a special teams guy, but I'm not saying he can't.
Right.
He's had a good camp.
Yeah, and so, or do you feel like you need to go and bring in somebody else?
Mm-hmm.
Not like there's a ton of starting corners that are sitting out there on the market right now at this point in the game, but guys will shake loose probably as cuts happen, and so the Ravens, surveyed the market there. But anyway, that's really a position group that I think that I am watching super closely in these practices.
Yeah, I agree. I thought Denard Wilson brought up a really good point about Jalen Armour-Davis, which was he's in position. He is there. It's about finishing now at this point for him, locating the ball, finishing the play. But that kind of echoes what I've seen in practice is, there's been some catches on him. That's going to happen. That's how it works for a cornerback. You break up fewer than you allow, generally speaking. But I think that he can run. He can run with. I've seen him run with Zay deep. He's got good size. He's in position. And he's so early in his career after not playing a whole lot last year. Every practice for him matters a lot. Yeah. And I see him improving. Is he where he needs to be right now in his career for me to say, yeah, sign me up week 1 starter Jalen Armour-Davis, feel great about it? No, he's going to have to keep progressing in training camp and in preseason and all that stuff to give probably himself and the coaches, that kind of confidence that he could be that guy. But I see the tools and I see the progression and I see the work that he's putting in that gives me confidence that he can get there.
Well, the word that he used, and Denard Wilson used, was consistency.
Yeah.
He needs consistency.
That's the name of the game at corner.
Yep. And that's the thing about
one
corners.
big
one play.
One play, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same for tackles. Offensive linemen. It's about consistency. What's your technique? Play in, play out. Because you get exposed once and everybody sees it. You give up that sack. You give up 1 sack a game. It's not a great season for you as an offensive lineman. You give up 1 bomb, 1 touchdown as a corner. It ain't great.
Yeah.
So you got to be dialed in.
I was great for 98% of the snaps.
Yeah, that don't work like that.
Yeah, not a corner.
What would happen on that 2%, huh?
Yeah, does not matter at corner. Yeah. So, I'm sure we're going to get a heavy dose of Jalen in the preseason. Yep. And by the way, preseason game this week. All right.
Yes.
There's actual football, preseason football Saturday night at M&T Bank Stadium. I think everyone's excited about that. I know we are. Mm-hmm. We're going to do a full preview podcast looking at that game, which is going to drop on Friday. So stay tuned for that. And if you are going to the game, it's our kids' night. So we've got floppy hat giveaways for kids that we're giving away. It's going to be just a great time that night. It's fun. I mean, the start, I know it's not the real season yet, but the start of the preseason is a lot of fun. And if you're not going to be there in the house, the game is going to be on WBAL as well.
Yep. One other thing I'll do a self plug here. My cover story on Odafe Owe and David Ajabo kind of referenced.
You got to work that in. You worked it in the interview with Nelson.
I should have stopped and done the full promo.
Let me dial back. I mentioned this earlier, but I want to circle back to that point.
Exactly. So wrote a cover story on those two guys and their brotherhood. Obviously, high school teammates, both from Nigeria, as we mentioned. Not reunite, but meet each other at Blair Academy in New Jersey, and then go on to team up in the pros. I mean, it's just an incredible story. And now, Justin Houston is in Carolina. Mm-hmm. The Ravens, how many times have we talked about the possibility of reuniting with Justin Houston? It didn't happen. So as it stands right now, and maybe another outside linebacker could be added at some point, but there's a lot of weight. Even if they do sign somebody, there's a lot of weight on their shoulders to be 2 horses in the Ravens pass rush. And so go back and read that story if you haven't done so. I'm excited about the potential those two guys have.
I am too. I mean, great story, and I'm excited about their ability. I mean, they've looked good in practice.
Yeah, they're turning it up.
Owe, I was feeling this way last year going into the season. I felt like he looked great all spring and had a really good training camp. It didn't translate during the season. I think he looks good once again. I mean, I think both those guys are living in the backfield on a lot of these plays.
Yes.
And so the Ravens believe that part of the reason they opted not to sign a Justin Houston or somebody else is because they have confidence in those 2 players.
Yep.
And we're going to get a chance to see it this year.
Yeah, really excited. Well, thank you for listening, and we will be back with you
on
Friday.